Hey there, I'm Heintzel, and welcome back to another Amazing Digital Circus video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking all 6 released episodes of the Amazing Digital Circus. Now, if you haven't already, I just released a theory video, on why I believe Caine is not AI and is himself a character, a real person put into the digital circus. Go check that out, link in the description, but that's not why you're here. You're here because you want to learn about my rankings of the 6 episodes of the Amazing Digital Circus. Of the 6 we have, I think there are several great episodes. Now, as you'll find out, and as I mentioned in the last Digital Circus video, there are 2 episodes in the Digital Circus that I think aren't so great. I think they're pretty bad, honestly. And I'm excited to give you my opinions on that. And I'm excited to rant with you guys in the comments about why those are actually really good episodes. And I'm ready for it, so just throw it away. Before we actually start this, one more thing I need to address is I am in my basement, so my apologies for the lack of visuals on my camera right here. It's not really a good setup, but I'm going to try to do my best. I have at least have the mic here, so better audio, or it should be. But my apologies for the background visuals of my actual video. So treat this video more as a podcast and less of a full-fledged video, because I feel like it shouldn't be, because it really isn't the best looking. Again, kind of grainy there, and at least the footage over there, is pretty good because on my monitor. So without further ado, let's get straight into these rankings, starting with the Amazing Digital Circus pilot, episode 1. If you want to say. Let's go. Let's stop it right there. Now, the Amazing Digital Circus episode 1 is a great episode. A perfect introduction to the series. We learn about all the characters, including Pomni, our main character, right? A great introduction. I think that we have a great understanding of all the characters thus far. And great comedy. It lets us know about what the series is going to be about. Them trying to escape. And yeah, I think it's a great introduction. I remember watching this when it released, a year ago? And really wanting more. I was like, this is a great episode. I want to see what's to come. And now after watching 6 episodes of it, I've seen what's to come, and I can go back and watch it and give you my final ranking of it. And after watching it, I still think it's a good introduction. It's not as watchable as I thought, so I'm gonna give it a solid 6 out of 10 Heintzel points. It does a good job of introducing the show and its characters, and overall, pretty good episode, pretty funny. And I feel like we have a great introduction to all the characters. So with that, let's move on to episode 2.
All I ask is that we don't tell the lads about this. A couple of bright-eyed guys. I don't want to drag them down with me.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's your name, by the way?
Gummy Caine.
Oh, wow, that's just...
All of you that are fans of episode 2, you're going to hate me. Because like I said, there are 2 episodes I think are just bad. And episode 2 is one of them. I think it's a bad episode. I don't have anything else to say about it. I feel like we could skip over episode 2, and we would learn the exact same things that we did in episode 1. I think that 2 is just boring, and not only do I find it kind of boring, I feel like we didn't learn anything. The episode, focuses mostly on Pomni and Gummigoo, which he's fine. Gummigoo's fine. But after this, Gummigoo, dies, and we get his reappearance in 4. But besides that, there's just nothing that carries over that really is important. I feel like Pomni more just settles into the circus, but we also see that in episode 3. So I just feel like 2 in itself isn't that interesting, and it could easily be skipped over and nothing would change. So personally, episode 2 is just a bad episode. I was really enjoying the series, with episode 1, and then I got to episode 2, Candy Carrier Chaos, and I was like, oh, so this is what it's gonna be. And I just was kind of bored. I was like, it's just gonna be them going on these adventures and nothing much else happening. I feel like we just didn't really get character development. It probably was, a little rushed with the major success of the first episode. But I feel like you can see that. You can see how rushed it was in its release, and we just didn't really get anything that interesting. So yeah, that's my opinions on episode 2. The first bad episode, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10 Heintzel points, and we can now move on to episode 3.
As you wish, Kinger.
The Lord drop there.
Hey, you alright?
Now, episode 3. As we just discussed, episode 2 was kind of a downgrade for me. But episode 3, I think, is the best episode so far. I think it does what episode 2 is trying to do in a much better light. We learn about Pomni while also learning about Caine. Those are the two main focuses. I mean, Caine is obviously the main focus, but we see Pomni, right, settling down at the circus, which is what episode 2 is trying to do. And we learn more about Caine, one of the characters that we're supposed to be learning about. And I think that's exactly what the series should be doing, right? We should be learning about the characters as the story progresses, which I feel like we just didn't do in episode 2. Episode 3 also has amazing visuals. I think it looks visually amazing, and I like the scary atmosphere. I think everything is really well done. The voice acting is great. And yeah, I think episode 3, a major step up from episode 2. Now, that being said, there is something I feel like we're still missing in the series, and that is a big overarching issue. You can call it like the Avengers level issue, where we saw in the MCU movies, right, there's a big setup for this big final villain. I feel like we haven't really seen that yet in the Digital Circus. We're still just learning about the characters and going on these kind of, you can call them useless adventures. I mean, I think Pomni even says that. They're just useless adventures to buy time. And I think that's cool. It makes sense for what's actually happening. But for us, the viewer, it's just like, okay, so what are we watching this for? What are we trying to get to? We don't have a final goal. And that can still be kind of boring. But I feel like at least here, we actually get more about Caine and Pomni. And I feel like we're actually learning more about the series. And it's more interesting than what episode 2 is trying to do. So overall, I'm going to have to give The Amazing Digital Circus episode 3, The Mystery of Mildenhall Manor, 7 out of 10 Heintzel points. And with that, let's move on to episode 4.
I could say the same.
Jax, there's dishes back here. You got time to lean, you got time to clean.
God, I'm on it. Later, Poppy.
Start of a duo? Start of the duo right there? Okay, let's stop right there. Episode 4. It's bad. It's bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now, you might be wondering why. Why is it bad, Heintzel? Because it looks visually really good, and I agree with you. It looks amazing visually. However, it's just not interesting. And again, it has the same problem as 2. You could skip over episode 4 and learn the exact same thing you did in 3 and 5. And that's why I just don't like it. Here's my issues with it. The episode, right, follows Gangle as our main character. We're supposed to be learning about Gangle. And I feel like after the entire episode, I had the same opinion and same idea of who Gangle was that I did at the start of the episode. I feel like I didn't learn anything about her. We just learned that she's sad, she's overwhelmed, and depressed. And I think it's the same kind of character arc we got in the first 3 episodes with her. And yeah, I just don't really find Gangle in general that interesting. But I feel like with her leading the episode, it wasn't a strong lead. And it didn't help that the adventure itself was really boring. And I get the point of it was supposed to be more boring, so we get good character interactions, in this fast food restaurant. I just feel like we didn't get those good character interactions, right? Ragatha was on stupid sauce, and Gangle was freaking out the whole time, being overwhelmed and stressed. Jax was not being himself, and Pomni was just sitting at the front counter. So I don't feel like we learned anything about any of the characters. If anything, we learned a little bit more about Caine and how he's kind of getting overwhelmed in the circus, which again points to my Caine is not AI theory. But besides that, I just feel like we didn't learn anything about the characters. And even Gangle, who was our lead character, I just feel like we didn't learn anything about it. But that's my opinion on episode 4, Fast Food Masquerade. And yeah, let's move on to episode 5. I'm going to give episode 4, just like episode 2, 4 out of 10 Heintzel points. Okay, on to a much better episode, episode 5.
Guess there's no more ball. We're done. Wait, I got this. Hey! Sorry, Subal. It's just the perfect regulation softball size.
Exactly.
We're not playing baseball here.
Stupid Subal. Okay, episode 5. Amazing episode, honestly. After watching episode 5, I think I went back and watched it again. I really enjoyed it. It's a very funny episode. I think the jokes, pretty much all of them landed in this episode. Like, I thought they were hilarious. I thought it was really well put together. It looked great. We got all of that character interaction that we wanted in the first 4 episodes right here. All of it's right here. We get Jax and Pomni. which first of all, best duo, and that's right here in episode 5. That's the start of it, and I think it's great. I absolutely love it. I love the drama with Ragatha. I think we were missing that kind of drama in the series, right? There was no real drama to be seen besides obviously Pomni wanting to escape, but not being able to. There's just no way she could. There's no goal she could achieve. But at least now, we have these amazing character interactions, these great duos, and a conflict between Ragatha and Jax, right, trying to fight over Pomni, that we just didn't have in the first episodes. And episode 6 carries us over, and that's why I like it so much. We have an actual story, an actual plot, and it even ends with a little foreshadowing to a mysterious character that we still haven't learned about, but at least it's hinting to an overarching story. Honestly, if we had to, I would just go episode 1, episode 3, episode 5, and then episode 6, and that would make such a better series. I just feel like 2 and 4 just aren't important. The only thing they add is runtime. So if we got rid of those, I think the series would be pretty much a 10 out of 10 series. And this right here is an amazing episode. I'm gonna have to give it 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 episode. And with that, let's move on to the final episode.
And you showed up. And my outlook just changed. There are always ways to show you care without ruining yourself over it. You need to look out for yourself in all this too.
I don't get it. So often nothing you say makes any sense, but then you have these moments where you... I don't know. How do you do that? I hope you've been around for so long.
I guess I just have a resilient mind.
Episode 6. They all get guns. Honestly, I'm just gonna give my rating right out of the way. 10 out of 10 Heintzel points. The very best episode of the Digital Circus, and I love it. It does everything that the Digital Circus was supposed to be doing in the past, and is amazing. There's hints of jokes, there's small jokes, and most of it's focusing on the character duos, right? Here we have Kinger and Ragatha, we have Pomni and Jax, and then we have Zubul and Gangle. And all of those characters are perfect together. I love the interaction, right? We see Kinger here in the dark again, helping Ragatha with her problems, because she obviously has a lot of issues. We see Jax and Pomni getting closer right before their big breakup. And then we have Zubul and Gangle getting along, because, right, Zubul kind of feels like she's responsible for Gangle. And she does a great job of, like, being her friend here and just supporting her. And honestly, I don't really care for Gangle, but I enjoyed her a lot more in this episode than I did even in 4, which is all about her. And I don't know, it's just a great episode. I love it. I love the drama we get between Jax and Pomni. By the end of it, they finally discuss, like, their feelings. We learn so much about Jax, and obviously the episode's about Jax. That's the main point. But it's just fun. It's interesting. We get to see all these gun actions, which is just so entertaining to watch. The adventure's actually interesting, which again is a big point for me. I want the adventures. If that's gonna be the main focus of the story, is the adventure, at least make the adventure interesting. And I think that 5 and 6 did a great job of that. And again, the big showstopper for this episode, the big point, was the character duos, and they were all so great. We get the good moments between Kinger and Ragatha, who are both like the parent characters of the show. We get Jax and Pomni, the youngest two, the two like that are still figuring out who they are, or more Pomni, so interacting. We got to see that in 5, and it carries over to 6, which is what we need. We need more carrying over of the episodes. And then Zubul and Gangle, we saw a little bit of them in 5 as well, you know, becoming friends. And we see more of that here, and it's just perfect. Big fan of it. Big fan. So yeah, that's my ranking of the 6 episodes of Amazing Digital Circus. Please let me know in the comments what you disagree and agree with, because I'm sure you guys have your own opinions. And that's about the whole video. I'm Heintzel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in a better office next time. Goodbye.